Rumors of the Sony A7C II have recently started to appear online. According to the leaks, the A7C II is basically going to be the A7 IV in a new body, which is kind of to be expected since it was the same case with the Sony A7 III and the A7C. While I'm not disappointed, I think Sony could do better. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, the Sony A7C is my favorite camera. Simple as that. Let me just make it clear that I primarily use this as a photo camera and I don't really use it for video anymore, at least. Now, when it comes to the A7C II just being a rehoused A7 IV, that's not a surprise at all to me. It's honestly exactly what I expected, which is definitely not a bad thing because it does have some much needed upgrades such as the 10-bit video and a 33 megapixel sensor. Now, when I think about the A7C, it already is pretty much my dream camera. If the A7C II just did not exist or the rumors were wrong and there is never an upgrade to this camera coming out, I would still be perfectly content using this camera. Realistically, this camera is already my dream camera in just about every single way, but in a recent video where I talked about the rumors of the A7C II, I got a couple comments asking me about what I want to see from the A7C II, what would be my dream version of this camera. No camera is perfect, no camera will ever be perfect, so as much as this is my dream camera, there are some things I would change. So when I think about what my dream camera would be, I don't think of the A7C II, I think of the A7RC. Obviously, it does not exist. There are no rumors about an A7RC or A7CR, but I think it is a realistic possibility that it could happen one day. So pretty much what I would want to see is just an A7R4 or the A7R5 in the A7C body. Before I had the A7C, I had the A7R2. Now, the A7C was pretty much better in every single way, except for the sensor. The sensor on the A7R2 was 42 megapixels compared to the 24 of this camera. While you don't always need that 60 megapixel, 40 megapixel image, it is always nice to have just in case you want to crop in. And that is one thing I miss about the A7R2, which I can't really do as much with the A7C. While I would expect worse low-light performance, that is a small price to pay for having a 60 plus megapixel image. That combined with the AI autofocus of the A7R5 would make the A7C the perfect street photography camera. See, my favorite thing about the A7C is the rangefinder style viewfinder. So while you have one eye covered, your other eye is still open, you can look around, which makes this camera perfect for street photography. So when you combine that with the AI autofocus, that it can lock on to any person, whether it's the front of their head, the back of their head, any part of their body, would just make this camera absolutely perfect for street photography. Along with that, we definitely need an improved viewfinder on this camera. Something just a little bit larger, a little bit higher magnification would make this camera way more usable, and I know it is probably the biggest thing that turns off people from this camera. I know I get so many comments of people complaining about the viewfinder on this camera, and so many people disappointed that the A7C II will probably still have the same viewfinder. Now with that, I do think we would probably see a little bit of an increase in the size of the body, which I don't think is honestly a problem, but as long as we can keep that rangefinder style viewfinder, it decreases the overall size profile of the camera, and regardless, it's still going to be smaller. And of course, I would love to see a black and a silver model. The overall aesthetic of the silver A7C is unmatched compared to any other Sony camera. Now the reason I think Sony should make this camera is because I don't know about you, but I feel like I've noticed a big shift in the way people have been taking photos and the type of cameras people want. I've seen so many people trading their larger mirrorless cameras or DSLRs for a smaller, compact camera such as the Fuji X100V, the XE4, or even the X Pro 3. And honestly, the A7C is probably the closest thing to any of those cameras without having to switch over to a completely different camera system and have to buy new lenses and everything. But I really can't see why both an A7RC and an A7C2 and the original A7C can't all exist together. I mean, they already have both for the normal A7 lineup. So yeah, in the end, basically all I'm trying to say is I would love to have an A7R5 in an A7C body with a few minor improvements to the viewfinder. And that's pretty much it. And that would be my perfect camera that I would use for the rest of eternity until it just quit working. And then I would probably just buy a new one. How many times do I need to reiterate that? That would be like the perfect camera. It's simple as that. And imagine if Sony made a 28mm 1.8 lens or 1.4 lens, how that would pair with an A7RC. That's pretty much a match made in heaven. And the important thing is, I think it's realistic. I think it could happen one day. If not, I'm not gonna be upset about it. I'm going to keep using the cameras I enjoy using, and it won't change my actual photography. So I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter. Let me know what you guys think. Would you be interested in an A7RC camera? Because I saw a couple other comments where people were thinking the same thing, and I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because I really do think Sony has something special with this A7C lineup, and I think it has a lot of potential if Sony would just be willing to upgrade, maybe make the viewfinder a little bit bigger, and that would instantly make this camera a huge hit. So let me know in the comments what your dream camera would be, whether it's an A7RC or an A7C something, whatever camera is your dream camera. Make up the specs in the comments down below, and I would love to see what you guys want. And with that, thank you for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to help support me so I can continue growing and reaching a larger audience. And I hope I could inspire you guys to get out and take more photos. Go out and shoot.